Hi Kia listeners, let's learn sumo. I'm Clayton, welcome to the podcast. Well, another update on the Terunofuji Isegahama violence scandal. I did say the punishment story should bring an end to the issue, but at the same time, we didn't have full clarity over the circumstances of the violence and its lead up, only allegations and a few rumours mixed in. Well, late yesterday, after recording the episode, I got a full translation of the Japan Sumo Association Kyokai Discipline Committee statement on the matter. It's quite lengthy, so I'll summarise as best as possible to give you the full story. On February 21, Saturday, around 3 a.m, Isegahama Oyakata Terunofuji met with Hakanofuji and other wrestlers from the stable at a members-only lounge. Now, during this time, Hakanofuji engaged in an inappropriate behaviour, such as touching the thigh of a female acquaintance of a supporter. Terunofuji heard the supporter's angry voice and learned that Hakanofuji had committed some inappropriate act towards the woman, and Hakanofuji had otherwise been sent outside the establishment at the supporter's instruction. Now, Terunofuji was concerned that Hakanofuji was heavily intoxicated and might get himself into more trouble if left outside. He also thought it necessary to have Hakanofuji properly apologise to the supporters and brought him back inside the establishment. While sitting next to Hakanofuji inside, he had a conversation with him, and apparently Hakanofuji had been cautioned by Terunofuji about his actions previously while drunk, even to the case where Hakanofuji had been previously prohibited from going out. Terunofuji was concerned that Hakanofuji's repeated actions may lead him to being forced to retire from sumo. For these reasons, the Oyakata, rightly or wrongly, felt it was futile to speak with Hakanofuji on the subject and decided to strike him on the face with his fist and slap him once with an open palm. Hakanofuji then apologised to the supporter and the Oyakata for his actions. Terunofuji then attempted to report the matter the next morning, but the JSA was closed due to a public holiday, and on the next opportunity, Terunofuji reported it to one of the directors, which led to the disciplinary meeting before the March Basho. The end of the statement sets out the JSA's feelings on the matter. This was a case where a person in a leadership position directly committed violence against a disciple, breaching violence prohibition regulations. It demonstrated a lack of awareness and is absolutely unacceptable. However, the manner of violence was limited to 2 strikes to the face while seated, and the manner and the degree cannot be said to be extremely malicious. Moreover, although it does not justify the violence, Hakanofuji had the fault of engaging in inappropriate behaviour towards the woman present, and there was no corresponding motive to admonish him. Additionally, considering the mitigating circumstances that Isegahama had no history of habitual violence, that this was an isolated incident, no particular problems were observed in his daily guidance and supervision of the stable, and he reported the matter to the compliance committee without concealment and acknowledged the facts and sincerely reflected on his actions. For this reason, the chairman recommended disciplinary action as a combination of demotion and salary reduction for the period of time. In regards to Hakanofuji, while intoxicated, engaged in inappropriate behaviour towards the female acquaintance of a supporter. This constitutes conduct markedly lacking in dignity under the compliance regulations and conduct that damages the association's credibility and honour. This inappropriate behaviour was an act that disregarded the woman's dignity and is totally unacceptable. However, considering that Hakanofuji has no history of disciplinary action, is sincerely reflecting on his actions, and the woman involved has not appealed to the JSA for Hakanofuji's punishment, the chairman recommended a severe warning for him. After the meeting, the JSA chairman, Hakaku, severely warned Hakanofuji to strictly refrain from similar conduct in the future. On the supervision of the stable, the board said that there are mitigating circumstances, but violence is unacceptable. They have therefore considered the ongoing guidance and supervision by a group of Oyakatas not only at the practice, but in the daily life of the stable to ensure compliance. So that's the JSA statement, and more clarity on what actually occurred that night. No appearance of a bottle or things that were rumoured otherwise. And whilst the initial view of the matter with the bottle sounded much worse than we thought, perhaps a drunken fight even, it's clear that the circumstances set significant blame on Terunofuji's behaviour and his repeated behaviour. Young men, testosterone and alcohol in combat sport situations sometimes leads to very poor decision making. Now, taken at face value with a grain of salt, this situation appears that Terunofuji had simply lost his patience with Terunofuji, who had some form of history with his behaviour while drunk. Certainly, Terunofuji doesn't come out of this with a whole lot of sympathy, to be fair. Where do they go from here? Well, I suspect Terunofuji's social life will be somewhat curtailed for a lengthy period of time. Terunofuji, under the weight of a new coaching structure, heavy debt, and some unhappy wrestlers from a previous stable, he'll be looking for a quiet period of stability and a bit of financial success to move into better times. The Miyagino boys, well, that is anyone's question. The life of an oyakata is obviously not easy, and is it something Enho would want to take on? Seems like a HR nightmare to me. So that's the clarity. I hope that assists you in understanding the situation. Thank you for joining me, folks. Hakioi, let's learn sumo.